What's up, you guys? My name is CyberSnowWolf, and welcome back to LEGO Arts. So in the last episode, we did a showcase on LEGO Godzilla King of the Monsters. So in this episode, since the game is coming out by the end of this month, we're doing a showcase on LEGO Showdown Bandit. And so as you can see here, we have the Bandit himself, our main protagonist from the game. So Showdown Bandit has kind of been something that's been jumping back and forth in my head since the first trailer, since Kindly Beast released the first trailer months ago. I think it was last year or early this year. I just remembered that from the first trailer that we saw, I was kind of intrigued as to what it could have been. And then after revealing the title, I kept wondering, should I do Showdown Bandit? And should I make some minifigures of that? And then after the latest trailer that they've put out on seeing the gameplay aspects of it, I thought it looked intriguing. So I figured out maybe I should give it a try. Like when it comes out, I should do a video on it to see how people react to it. And while in the process, why don't we do Legos? Because that's what we do here on this channel. So this took some time to do, specifically mainly with the head, as well as some of the 3D elements. But aside from that, this minifigure went pretty by fast, and I'm pretty glad of the final result of how this turned out. So, as you guys know the whole drill, we're going to take this minifigure, do a review in it, explain my process, why we went this route, and then go from there. So, without further ado, let's get the pedestal out and get this showcase on the road. So, when it came to making the character himself, it reminded me a lot of when I was working on Bendy and the Ink Machine and Cuphead, specifically of sort of my style of making a molded head. But, unlike the other two, I approached this one very differently. So he does have a minifigure head underneath as sort of a base of how to sculpt the head. I kept jumping back and forth of whether or not I wanted to do a regular minifigure head and then add on a decal or something, or just paint on the rest of this and then add in sort of the hat and everything. But then I decided that since this is a character that's supposed to represent something from the 1900s and just with those classic cartoons, especially since this is a character based off of a puppet show. I figured that how about we go ahead with the molded head kind of style and then add that on. Unlike Bendy and Cuphead, the minifigure head underneath is sort of a base to spread the rest of this clay out. So you can see of where I have in the hair and then with the hat. I actually did this in different layers. So first I did the hat. And the hat, hang on, I'll put this off the pedestal so you can see a better closer look at the hat. Okay, position the light a little bit. There we go. So you can see of some of the detailing work that I did with the hats, including adding in some of the holes. The hat actually went through two different styles. So, the first style is that since I had a bunch of them lying around, I was originally going to go ahead with a spare Woody hat and sort of sand it off a little bit, sand off the top a little bit, sand off where some of the sewing is, and then sort of try to even it out as best as I could. But upon closer inspection of Showdown Bandit's hat, it's more of an oval shape, really, and less sort of a point. A point with this one. So I realized that I was gonna have to sculpt my own hat. So I took another hat. I think it's supposed to be maybe a Swamp Raider kind of hat, or something that you go, a hat that you would wear when hiking or hunting. I don't remember what the minifigure was, but I took that hat, cut off the rim of it, and then added in the clay. And then the clay is sort of my own style for of how the hat would go. I then carved out the holes, and sands a line right down the middle to match it up with the hats, and then painted on the base color for a dark gray. Then adding in this purple stripe around the hats, and then with the final result, it came out pretty good. Then next, I worked on the face. That first, I applied in the base color face of this tan and sort of paint job. I also added it on for the arms and the hands. You can also see of where I added in a little black detailing to represent of the joints that the puppet has. Same thing on the sides of his arms. You can see where the joints are. And with the rest of this face, I I had to look at a few photos to get like a good angle of the face. This was probably harder to do than Bendy and Cuphead, because at least with those I had a lot more photos, like a lot more clear images of like their face designs. So it was and so it helped me capture that sort of face design for each of those characters. With Showdown Bandit, since the game has not been released yet, there aren't any like clear photos to give us like a good description of Showdown Bandit's face. But after surfing through images, I finally found a few good photos that showed off like the face detailing, and I was able to incorporate that for the character. As you can see, like he's got like these strips of clay to add in for like his hair. I added in a little bit on the top to represent sort of the hair coming like where the ear was. I didn't add in on the ears on the sides because I didn't know how that would look. So I decided to keep those off since this is technically Lego. He's also got like his red cheeks. This side it came out a little bit weird. I don't know why I placed them as best I could, but this came out a little bit odd. The eyes were pretty easy to do. I painted in the 2 black dots first, and then small white dots, and then I took a Sharpie and added in the pupil to complete the eye. I painted on the eyebrows next, and then this little lock of hair hanging out. And as you can see, he's got sort of that scar like deep cut in his face, and as well as like the metal like strapped to it to keep it in check. And as well as like the mouth design of where the puppet's mouth would be moving. And it was a little bit tricky to do some of this stuff, but after a little trial and error, this came out pretty good. So I'm pretty proud of how the puppet came out, and I can even move his head a little bit. At first, it wouldn't fit on completely, I was originally going to go ahead with like drilling a hole inside the head so that way it could fit on full all the way. But then I decided to save a little time. How about we sand off the connector piece? Like, hang on, if I can, yeah, you can see of like the sanding that I did. If I sand off a little bit, it should be able to work. And it does. Yes, it works pretty well. So I think I might try that method again for future minifigures to keep a head on, or just put it on the body. So anyways, going through the rest of the figure, the arms were pretty simple to do. Like first I added in a tan, and then I went back with this purple. I am proud that I was able to replicate this purple color, because this was the same purple that I used for my Incredible Hulk figure for the Endgame showcase. So the fact that I was able to replicate that color and not have to like repaint anything was really well done. I really like that. It helped a lot. Then, as you can see, he's got like his little handkerchief. I originally was kind of hoping to maybe use like a Lego handkerchief to add in sort of those Lego elements. But then after working on this figure, I realized that there wasn't a handkerchief that would be compatible with this head. That would either be too big or too small. So I had to go with like the Lego Arts route and sort of make my own, which was kind of easy to do. All I had to do was just take a bit of clay, glue it on back here to represent the tie, and then put a little bit on the front without getting in the way of any of the rest of the detailing. Then like carved out a little bit to represent some of the other stuff, and to represent another layer of the handkerchief, and then it came out pretty good. So it was pretty easy to do. Then the rest of this detailing was first on a base black, then added in like my own sort of reddish brown kind of color, that I tried my best to keep up and to keep it up like on a continuous stream through the rest of the figure all the way around. I don't think it's really did on the sides, but since the arms are kind of meant to move a whole lot through there, and since in the past paint has been known to break off the sides and you would see like the original color, I'm not too worried about that. His legs, I was kind of hoping would come out a little bit different, but with the legs that I was working with, I did sort of a quick measurements of how this would go, and I quickly realized that the waist won't be big enough to support a belt, as well as showing in enough of the original leg pattern, the original like pant color. So what I had to do instead was paint a belt buckle underneath the shirt, where you would see like the purple shirt underneath. I had to paint the buckle on to still keep it up of Showdown Bandit. It's not too big of a deal. It's not too big of a deal, but I kind of would have loved if I had used movable legs for this one. But at the time, I didn't have any more, so I had to work with what I had. But I'm okay with that. I'm okay. That's what we do on this channel. Trial and error. But going on through the rest of the legs, they were pretty easy to do. Like first on the chocolate brown base color, and I went back and did like this gold outline, a line that's supposed to represent the outline for the boots. I also have it for it represents the joints where the puppet would move his legs, and then to top it all off, added in the black paint to finish off for his boots, and then we have here with Showdown Bandit. And he technically is supposed to be holding a gun like he does in the game, but I don't have any spare revolvers at the time, so it's not really too big of a deal, because at the moment, I think this minifigure turned out pretty good, and I'm pretty satisfied with the final results. So, let's go on ahead and wrap the showcase up, and then begin talking more about for some stuff in the future. And that does it for this episode of LEGO Arts. I hope you guys enjoyed this showcase. Okay, so this was kind of fun to do. Again, Showdown Bandits, I didn't know whether or not I wanted to do this, or whether or not you guys would want to see LEGO formats of this minifigure for some time. But then after the latest trailer came out, I finally decided that, like, you know what? Let's do one minifigure and see how it goes. So if you guys want me to do more Showdown Bandit minifigures in the future, let me know in the comment section below. Comment hashtag LEGO Bandit, and then I'll start planning ahead for the future, like after the game comes out and everything, and then I'll put together sort of like a list of what characters we've come across so far, and then I'll be able to go ahead and plan for another Showdown Bandit and showcase. So if you guys want me to do more minifigures, let me know in the comment section below, and I'll see what I can do. So speaking of minifigures, I just got a whole bunch of new minifigures in, and I'm planning on making a few more customs for some future showcases. So be sure to keep your eyes and ears peeled for that, for that to come out in the future. And again, I'm planning on playing Showdown Bandit when the game comes out. So when the game is released, I'll do a video on it, and then we'll see how things go from there. So, anyways, if you guys want to see more videos like this in the future, be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell for notifications. It really helps us work on Let's Plays, LEGO projects, or maybe that was so fun. So, anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, hit that like button, comment below what you think, share it with your friends, subscribe to YouTube, follow me on Twitch, and here's off of the road. Woo! Woo! Thank you guys, and we'll see you next time. What do you guys, Moon Rises?